Next at 4:30, the war goes on in the Middle East. What humanitarian crises are at stake? Also, a popular video game is heading to the big screens. And UCO football battled NSU for the President's Cup. Mark Lowe will have the highlights and the final score in sports. Finally, what candy is most popular in Oklahoma? All of this and more coming up now on UCentral News.
Live from Central Oklahoma, this is UCentral News.
And I'm Mark Lowe. Welcome to this edition of UCentral News.
We start off this evening with the ongoing fight in Israel and Gaza. The death toll rises now to over 6,000 between the Palestinians and Israelis since the attack on October 7th. With thousands of buildings destroyed and hundreds trapped, the newest factor in the conflict is humanitarian crisis. The water has been cut off in Gaza from Israel in response to Hamas holding Israelis hostage. Dr. Mohammed said these crimes against humanity are from both sides.
Especially if targeting civilians, any targeting of civilians on both sides, I have to say, whether Palestinians or Israelis, is amount to crimes against humanity. So in that respect, we're talking about crimes being committed right now, especially those voices that talk about possible genocides or ethnic cleansing and things like that.
Airstrikes from Israel continue to hit the Gaza Strip with no ending in sight. The U.S. announced they are bringing 20 trucks with humanitarian aid to Gaza with the help of Egypt.
Despite the ongoing conflict in the Gaza Strip, the war in Ukraine continues. UCentral's Sam Kozlowski interviewed UCO tennis athlete Karina Yuchenko about her trip back to Ukraine over the summer.
Fighting in Russia and Ukraine has lasted just over 600 days, and I got a chance to talk to UCO's Ukrainian women's tennis star Karina Yuchenko as she just came off a first-place finish at the ITA Regional Singles, recounting her first visit back in Ukraine since the war began well over a year ago.
And I had a lot of mixed feelings. At first, yes, of course, I was so happy to go back and just to have this feeling of being home again. But on the other hand, all my friends around, they would ask me, are you sure you want to go there? Because there is still huge risk of danger, and you never know what's going to happen today or tomorrow. I anticipated that probably I will be a little bit scared to go back, but I had a lot of plans to do, so I was happy that I was able to do this.
On her second day back home, Karina gave her grandfather a birthday present he'll never forget.
In this moment, I knocked at the door, and they were super surprised. My grandma opened the door, and she was really confused about it. I think emotions and feelings is the best thing you can give anyone.
Over 500,000 Russians and Ukrainians have been injured or killed as a result of the war, or about 1/10 of the population of Oklahoma.
I don't think I really can express my feelings with words because it's impossible to describe how it feels to see all the places where I went for a walk every day with my dog, and now just buildings are destroyed, and forest where I went with my dog, now people cannot walk there.
Men, women, and children have been affected by this war, and you can potentially save lives by donating food or clothing to crisis organizations such as UNICEF or United 24. Despite the conflict, there's no place like home, and Karina can't wait to go back to Ukraine next year. Reporting from Edmond, Oklahoma, Sam Kozlowski, UCentral News.
Thank you for that, Sam. And got a little look outside there. It's nice and sunny, and it is late October. So something isn't adding up right here.
And it feels like it's August. Let's toss over to Destiny. Destiny, what's it look like outside right now?
Yes, guys, currently outside it is about 82 degrees. It is very humid outside. If you've been outside today, you've probably noticed that. Because that humidity rate, it does feel like it is 82 out. And then it is partly cloudy outside despite the heat. And then the winds are blowing south at 17 miles per hour. But tonight, those temperatures are going to start to cool down a little, and we're going to get some rain coming in. The low for tonight is about 66 degrees. The winds will also slow down, blowing south at 14 to 17 miles per hour, but the humidity rate will stay the same. And then there is going to be a 90% chance of that rain tonight, and that rain is going to start today, and it's going to carry on for majority of the week. So that is all I have for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Destiny. Well, good news, Broncos. The university has launched their first doctorate program. The Doctor of Science will be in the Forensic Science Department and will provide students additional 60 hours of graduate courses and research. The program will be available for students starting in the fall of 2024.
It's time to start planning for your spring and summer classes as enrollment starts soon. Be sure to meet with your advisor before enrollment priority. Enrollment starts October 30th for graduate students. Be sure to check your email for your dates to enroll. And I know we just talked about it, but it is, again, very, very humid out there. I drove up from Lawton this morning, and again, it felt like it was middle of summer, and it's almost November.
It's crazy, but I hear there might be some rain on the way. Destiny Pittman will have your full look at weather up next.
Happy birthday! Make a wish.
Miss you guys.
Blue skies smiling at me, talking about blue skies. Do I see bluebirds singing a song, talking about blue skies from now on?
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Are you really sure this is all going to fit?
Oh, it'll fit. I got that.
All right.
When hauling anything, ensure it's secure. Losing your load is dangerous for all drivers. We want everyone to make it home safe. Help make Oklahoma safe by securing your load.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to take a look at our statewide forecast for tomorrow. So we're going to be starting up in the Panhandle, and we see it's going to be the warmest part of the state up in Guyman. It's going to be about 82 degrees tomorrow. And as we look across this map, we see a lot of low to high 70s. And then down in Woodward, it's going to be 78, and then 74 in Clinton and Lawton both. And then down in Altus, we see it's going to be about 77 degrees tomorrow. And then Ardmore, 76. And as we move across the other part of the state, we see 78 in McAllister, and then Idabel's another warmer part of the state tomorrow at about 81 degrees. And then in central Oklahoma, the Oklahoma City and Edmond area are both going to be about 79 degrees. And then as we move up, it gets a little cooler. 72 in Enid and Tulsa, 71 in Ponca City, and then 75 in Miami. So we're going to move on to our 7-day forecast. So as we look at our 7-day forecast, we can see that today is going to be the warmest part of the week with a high of 83 for today. And then there's going to be a lot of rain and storms this week, and that will all start tonight, moving on to the rest of the week. So tomorrow there's going to be a 90% chance of those thunderstorms with a high of 71, low of 66. And then again, Wednesday, more thunderstorms, 60% chance with a 75 for the high, 64 for the low. And then on Thursday, we can see it's going to be some rain, 30% chance, and it's going to get a little warmer, 78 compared to the lower 70s we have been seeing. And then as we move on to this weekend, we can see it's going to be a very gray and wet weekend. So on Friday, 73 for the high with a 40% chance of those rains and part sun, low of 52. And then on Saturday, the thunderstorms are coming back, and this is when it starts to get really cool outside, 68 for the high, 53 for the low. And then on Sunday, again, another cooler day, one of the coldest days we've seen in a while, 63 for the high with a 50% chance of some rain and sun. So I know that I, for one, am pretty excited that this rainy weather is coming back. I know it seems like we kind of skipped fall, but I'm looking forward to this weather. Mark, Emma, how are you guys feeling about this?
I'm feeling pretty sick and excited. I am sick and tired of the 80s in middle of October. Now, I do have a question for you. Are these storms, are they going to be severe or just mostly rain?
Most of it, we are going to have a flood watch, so not going to be too severe, but definitely there is going to be a lot of rain and thunder, and so also some lightning coming with that.
All right.
Perfect. Well, I, again, for one, am definitely looking forward to that rain, looking forward to the fall weather to where I don't have to sweat whenever I walk across campus. It's going to be great. Absolutely looking forward to that. Coming up at social media, Taylor Swift is still taking over the sports world.
And a video game rising in popularity only a few days after its release. Perla Tovar has all the details when we come back.
Raised to believe in the power of possibility, to always move forward but never forget where I came from, to value hard work, ingenuity, and hospitality. On one hand, my people are rough and rugged. On the other, refined and elegant. They taught me how to love beautiful things and cherish my past, to seek out adventure, eat well, and to have a good time. So I keep their traditions alive every place I go. They call me Oklahoma City, but you can call me the modern frontier.
UCentral News as a whole, you got to be in those different areas, like being on camera, being off camera, being in the control room. And so I feel like that is what prepared me most about being in the workplace.
UCentral and the mass comm department has provided me all the tools and the fundamentals that are needed in order to thrive well and thrive fast at my job.
Maybe it's time to hit the road and visit a place where stories unfold. This is the land of the ultimate road trip, with sights old and new on Route 66. There's fun to be had, so much to do, and a few new surprises before you get through. Oklahoma has the most miles to share of Route 66. It's really quite rare. TravelOK.com will show you the way. Come see for yourself this iconic highway.
Welcome back, Broncos, to your social media update. My name is Perla Tovar, and we're going to be diving into the world of social media. I don't think anyone is surprised, but Taylor Swift was spotted at another one of Travis Kelce's football games this weekend against the Los Angeles Chargers. Taylor was repping a red Kansas City Chiefs sweatshirt and has been seen hanging out with Brittany Mahomes. This is the fourth game that the singer has attended since Travis Kelce's season, and this morning fans were going crazy after seeing Taylor Swift kissing Travis Kelce on the cheek while hanging out after last night's game. Maybe after this, they will publicly announce their relationship status very soon. And the apparel brand founded by Kim Kardashian, Skims, is hoping to attract new customers. Skims will be dropping their first men's collection this week. Our very own Shai Alexander, point guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder, was featured in the promo video released earlier today. Skims is expanding beyond female clothing and into men's products with a new lineup including undershirts, boxers, and even leggings. Sizes will encompass body positivity and stretch from extra small to 5X. The full collection will be available to shop on skims.com on October 26th, starting at 9 a.m. And after more than 5 years in the making, Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, will be streaming on Peacock and in theaters this Friday, October 27th. Here is the first look at the trailer.
This place has been I have something for you. It's a security gig.
I will work and you will sleep, you understand?
This place has been shut down for years. It was huge in the 80s with the kids.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where fantasy and fun come to life. Come to life. Come to life.
Can we go home now?
Giant robots murdering innocent people? You didn't think you should maybe tell me about that?
And this morning, PlayStation announced on Instagram that Marvel's Spider-Man 2 PS5 video game has sold more than 2.5 million copies in the first 24 hours. Spider-Man 2 has been the fastest-selling studio game in PlayStation history. I know I've heard a lot of great feedback this morning about the game, so be sure to go get your game today. That's all I have for you guys. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Perla. Well, coming up in sports, UCO's volleyball had a big win this weekend, and the football team is bringing home some hardware.
Also, a look at OU and OSU football and the fight that's developing for teams to make it to the World Series. I'll have all of it and more coming up in sports. Stay with us.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back, sports fans. The Lady Broncos volleyball team had a big ranked matchup in Edmond on Friday night, and it turned into a big night for the Lady Broncos. The 19th ranked Lady Chos and the 8th ranked Lady Lopers went back and forth all throughout the matchup, with each team seeming to get the upper hand at every serve. The Lady Chos wound up winning the first set and dropping the second to the Lopers. The Lady Broncos would not be shut down as they went on to win the next two sets, securing the victory for UCO. While this ranked matchup was a huge up for them, the job was still not finished. The Fort Hays State Tigers came to town the next day and were sent home with their tails tucked as the Lady Broncos stayed hot and won 3-0 in this matchup. They are on the road tomorrow to Wichita, Kansas to take on Newman at 6 p.m. Moving over to the football field, the Broncos were on the road last week and it was one with a lot on the line. The Broncos made the 2.5-hour ride to Tahlequah to face off against the Northeastern Riverhawks. Not only were playoff hopes on the line for the Chos on Saturday, but also the President's Cup, which has called Edmond home for the last 8 years. The Broncos went into the matchup with a 3-4 record, while the Riverhawks were only 1-6. The Broncos dominated the first half with the 20-0 lead at the end of one and went into the half with a 23-7 lead over the Riverhawks. Northeastern came soaring back in the third with the 2 quick touchdowns to make the score 23-21 headed into the fourth. But it was all Broncos from there, and they headed back to Edmond with the President's Cup on the 37-21 win over Northeastern. Quarterback Dawson Hurl led the way for the Broncos with 3 touchdowns on 19 completions for 258 yards and 1 interception. The Broncos are back on the road next week to take on Fort Hays State for the Tigers Hall of Fame game. Oklahoma State had a Big 12 matchup that turned into a shootout this weekend, and it was a much-needed win for the Pokes. The Pokes came into the matchup on a 2-game win streak, which is much needed after 2 losses to Iowa State and South Alabama that put a lot of questions up in the air. The Pokes and Mountaineers duked it out in West Virginia on Saturday, but in the end, State came away with a 48-34 win. They currently sit at 4th place in the Big 12 with a primetime matchup against the new addition to the conference, Cincinnati, next week. On the other side of the city, the Sooners welcome Central Florida to town for their first matchup coming off the bye week. UCentral's Ray Robinson went to the game and has more on this story.
On Saturday, an undefeated Oklahoma Sooners took on a UCF team that was definitely hungry for their first conference win of the season. In a game that saw the Sooners highly favored to win, that prediction slowly started to go into question as numerous of missed opportunities to score on the board, missed field goals, slow offense, and lack of discipline is definitely a recipe to lose a game. OU's defense remained consistent throughout the game as they held UCF to 149 yards rushing. In an ugly but a win not to be taken as seriously as Brent Venables understands the management of success can dictate how far a team can go.
Poorly managed success is the number one reason for failure. And so some people will say, well, you didn't handle that success very good. That's a fair game. That's, again, one way to look at it. I look at it as individual moments. Like, well, for first 4 drives on defense, we were amazing. We handled the success great. But then we lost our mind and the poise in the moment, and we taunted somebody after a great stop, and we got punished for it.
This tight game went all the way to the finish as the game ended 29-31 with Oklahoma winning. As they prepare for Kansas in the next game on the road, continuing this undefeated record is one that they will not take lightly as Venable has a great idea of what to expect from them.
We better have some things figured out and get better because we're going on the road to play a really good Kansas team that's rested and incredibly, they're feeling pretty dang good about themselves right now. That team that we just barely escaped, I think they might have beat them by like 5 touchdowns or something.
Thank you for that, Ray. And finally today, the Conference Championship Series are wrapping up in the major leagues, and the one word used to describe those series, cinema. Let's start off in the ALCS. The Rangers and Astros have been in a battle for the conference crown, and it's been a fun one to watch. The Rangers took a 2-0 series lead before headed back to Arlington, where the Astros went on a 3-game win streak and looked to close it out last night back in Houston. The Rangers would not go down silently. They came storming back last night to force Game 7 tonight in Houston. Over the NLCS, the Phillies look to clinch their second World Series berth in 2 years, but to do that, they need to fight off the Diamondbacks, who are anything but easy to put away. The D-backs' last hope is tonight against the Phillies in Philly, so the odds are stacked against them. And Emma, we've talked a little bit about this. You know that we're both big Dallas sports fans, yes. Cowboy Stars, you name it, we're there. Who do you have tonight? Rangers, Astros, the battle for Texas. It all comes down to this.
It's going to be a close one. My mom and dad and I, we watched the game last night. And my mom's an Astros fan. My dad's a Rangers fan. I've gone to Rangers games. I don't know. I can't say because I don't know. It's going to be all these games have been within a few runs. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. The funny fact about just like this series in general, the home team has not won a game. So each team that's been away has won each game. So hopefully that trend continues tonight since the Rangers are in Houston. I'm hoping for that, but we'll see. It'll be a matchup for sure.
It'll be a very, very good game. Well, thank you, Mark. Coming up, see which Halloween candy is most popular in Oklahoma.
And Destiny Pittman will have our last look at weather when we come back.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back. From candy corn to Kit Kats, the most coveted treats might be tricks this Halloween, depending on the state. CandyStore.com released a database on its bulk candy sales to determine the favorite Halloween sweets in each state and nationwide. The most popular candy across the country was Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. The chocolate and peanut butter confection was also the favorite in Kentucky, Florida, and New Hampshire. In Oklahoma, the top 3 were Skittles, Double Bubble, and Snickers. The candy corn made a surprising comeback in the top 10 and was Utah's favorite. According to the National Retail Federation, Halloween candy sales are expected to reach $3.6 billion this year, and I'm probably going to be half of that.
Man, I'm right there along with you. Christmas is coming fast, and the long-awaited Devon Ice Rink announced its opening date for their 12th skating season at the Myriad Botanical Gardens. The ice rink will be open to the public from November 17th until February 4th of 2024. And before we get a little bit of ice, we have to have a little bit of rain. Yes. And as Destiny mentioned earlier, there's going to be a little bit of that coming up later this week.
Yes, and hopefully some cooler weather. Destiny, what do you have for us?
Yes, so I'm going to have our next few days right here for you guys. Like you guys said, a lot of rain we are seeing this week. If there was any week you want to have an umbrella or raincoat with you, it would be this week. So tomorrow we're going to have those heavy rains starting early in the morning with cooler temperatures, high of 71. So just make sure if you're going to be out, have an umbrella or raincoat. And that goes with all of these other days as well. And then on Wednesday is when that severe weather starts to come in. That's when we're going to have a lot of thunderstorms, and then 75 for the high. And then we see that Thursday is going to be the warmest day of this week. We're going to get a little break from the cold weather, but we're still going to have some chance of showers. So again, we're going to have 3 days of heavy rain, and this is going to put us under a flood watch that will start tonight, carrying on until the end of Thursday. So like I said, we have the flood watch until Thursday, and then there will be rain all week. So we saw that there's going to be rain all until next week, and the temperatures are going to start to cool down. So it looks like that hot weather is going to finally be gone for good. So that is all I have for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Destiny. Well, I would say I'm really happy, even though rain's not the best thing to have, it's good for us because we've been in a drought.
Yeah, definitely in my part of the state from Lawton, Southwest Oklahoma, we've been in a drought for a long time. So hopefully this rain helps ease that up. But also with that, remember, as Destiny said, flood watch is going to be in effect until Thursday. So be sure to keep an eye on that. Make sure that if you happen to have a flood in your area, that you take your precautions that are necessary. Definitely want to be safe coming up into this rain.
Turn around, don't drown is very important. If you see that water, don't take it for granted. Do not drive in it because you will be stalled out.
Absolutely. It happens to almost everybody,
yes.
Man. You got to watch out for it. And that is all the time we have today for UCentral News. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Mark Lowe.
And I'm Emma Birch. Have a good night.